One of the easiest ways to start getting more wins here in CFB 26 is simply by getting more stops on defense. I know it sounds easier said than done, but don't worry, because in this video, I'm breaking down 5 tips that if you actually implement them, you're going to see your defense drastically improve game after game, and you're going to start getting more wins. You're not going to miss this video, so let's jump right into it. The first thing you need to play great defense is a way to quickly get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. Let me show you the best blitz I like using right now. Alright, that blitz that I'm talking about here is going to be from nickel 3-3 Cub. Alright, we're going to come into Mike Blitz 0. How we're going to set this up is we are going to shift our D line to the left here. We are going to drop our this man right here into a curl flat. Now, here's the key. If they're going to be sending their running back out and you know that, you can leave the running back manned up. If you know the running back's blocking, I would probably just put LB right here in a zone so you can switch it on to him. But sometimes you don't know, and if you don't know, just leave him manned up. You'd rather be safe than sorry, right? So drop your man into a curl flat, but here's the key. You're going to stand about 2 yards over this center right here, and as soon as this ball gets snapped, you're going to press your D-pad to the right to essentially what I call D-pad switch stick onto that curl flat defender, right? So essentially you're just going to be overloading the left side of the offensive line here, right? So, I mean, 53 is eager to get off the ball, you can tell, right? So again, we're going to take the snap, immediately press D-pad to the right, and there it is. You see it. Because, again, you have 4-on-3 on that side, it's very easy. Your user, once you switch stick off of him, is just simply going to run right into this, center right there, and then you're going to be able to just come in free off the edge, 4-on-3, like I talked about every single time. And it's amazing because the other side of the offensive line, they're just going to double team. They're going to double team number 15 right here, and so they're going to, it's just going to be very easy for you because they're double teaming while someone else is coming in free. So this is really going to force them to set different pass protection, all right? But also we look at another reason why this works is because number 0 right here, the running back, right? I'm able to switch stick over here and take this away because I have a man in a flat zone right there. Now, another way that you could really set this up, if you wanted to make this even better, you could probably just man up the running back with that linebacker instead and then put your hook curl. So set it up the same way, but now you just switch the assignments of these two. And again, you don't have to run man coverage behind this blitz. You can really do whatever you want, right? But instead, you're just going to press D-pad up now. So again, take the snap, immediately press D-pad up, and you're still able to see that same pressure that you're going to get off of that left side. But now you're right back into coverage as soon as possible to be able to just lurk over the middle of the field. So again, like I said, now you just, essentially you're just getting the best of both worlds. You're just user rushing them, which forces extra protection issues, but then you're still back into coverage immediately. But the key is doing this with the D-pad and not the right stick. If you tried to right stick, switch stick, it wouldn't work because your user's in a blitz angle. But when you do with the D-pad, it works perfect. Now, the last thing I will show you with this blitz is what if they do go ahead and block their running back. Now, like I said, if you know they're blocking their running back, just put your man in a hook curl. If you don't know, it's fine. Just leave him manned up. But if they go ahead and block their running back right here, you're going to see same thing, stand in the same spot, D-pad switch stick, but now you see this is what I actually talk about all the time. When they add that extra man into protection, the blitz isn't going to come in immediately a lot of the time, but now they're just going to be punished because their running back's just going to get destroyed by your linebacker, right? Linebackers are just going to be able to pretty easily run through these through these running backs, and you're going to be able to get quick pressure on the quarterback. So we set it up the same way. We have our hook curl, we have our linebacker right here blitzing. They block their running back. So same scenario as before. Take the snap, immediately press D-pad up, and now you're able to see. Honestly, that time we still get the instant pressure because that time the running back didn't even recognize the man in the blitz, right? He just never sees him, and so we're just able to squirt in free for a sack. So that's what I mean, where sometimes the running back steps up, blocks him, makes the protection better for them, but other times he never sees the guy, and that's what makes this blitz so good because you're going to be able to get quick pressure on the quarterback regardless, and you're back into coverage immediately. Alright, I understand your pain point. You buy all these ebooks, watch all these videos, everyone's trying to set up a whole bunch of adjustments and you can't follow along because your quick adjustment game isn't there yet. Let me show you the best way to improve your quick adjustments so you can set up your defense faster. Now, you can actually set up quick adjustments from any defensive formation in the game, calling any play against any offense. None of it matters, all right? Really, the best way to kind of practice this, though, is this is how I like to break it down. You need to understand what certain position groups, what button commands they are, all right? So when you press D-pad right twice, that opens the linebackers, all right? So you're going to have 1 to 3 linebackers. I guess sometimes you have 4, but a lot of time you just have 1 to 3, and you can adjust them with X, Y, or A. In this formation, we only have 2, and so you would just click onto them and you can put them into any zone, any assignment that you want here, right? All right, that's cool. Now, you're going to press D-pad left twice, and that's going to open the adjustments for the defensive line, all right? X, Y, A, and B. Sometimes you only have 3 defensive linemen, so one of these buttons might not exist for you, but now we're going to come into the safeties, right? Or it's the DBs, the secondary. So you have your slot corner, your 2 outside corners, and your 2 safeties, right? So X, Y, L, B, A, and B, right? I mean, just you now click onto them. It's pretty simple, and then you can put them in whatever zone you want. So really, the way that you improve with this is get the muscle memory down of each position group, pressing the button twice, and then opening their adjustments. But then the next part is actually putting them in the zones and remembering what button command does what. So if I press Y twice, then I press B, I know that if I press left stick down, I can put them in a cloud flat. If I press left stick up, I can put them in an outside third, and then you can see all the other adjustments. Now, I don't use all of these adjustments. Like, I would never blitz him. I rarely put him in an outside quarter or a deep half or a soft squat. So it's really, for me, the hard flat, the cloud flat, the outside third, and the custom zone that I use for my corners, right? And so I just build that muscle memory, and then it's the same thing on both sides. Both of your corners are going to have the same adjustments. Both of your safeties are going to have similar adjustments, just because it kind of depends on what you're trying to do, where you're trying to put them. But for the most part, a lot of these adjustments are interchangeable and they're the same. So if I wanted to start, a great use case for this is if I started in a cover 2, but then I didn't want to run the cover 2 on one side for whatever reason. Now I just set the defense up like this, and now you see within a half a second or a second and a half, we have a completely different defense where we're less likely to just give up a post, and we're still able to defend the short flat on that right side. So again, this has taken me obviously years of practice to get better with the quick adjustments and build that muscle memory and that speed, but that's all it is. Mastering different position groups, what button commands do what. Again, press Y twice, you're going to be able to open the secondary. You press D-pad right twice, you're going to be able to open the linebackers, and if you press D-pad left twice, you're going to be able to open the defensive line, and then just practicing what button command from you does what after you open their menu. So that's a pro's guide to quick adjusting, which is going to significantly help your defense versus what you're probably doing right now, clicking onto each guy individually, and that's just slowing you up on defense. All right, having a great blitz is cool. Being able to make adjustments fast is helpful as well, but if you're not using the right defensive settings, all that's going to be useless. Let me show you the best settings to use right now. All right, so when I talk about the best settings, all right, there's a couple of ones that I haven't really talked about recently. So we're going to come into pause the game, or you can do this in the main menu. You're going to come to your options, all right? You're going to scroll down until you find your gameplay helpers. Now, these are the ones that matter. Ball hawk, make sure this is on. This will help you basically when you go for interceptions, like suction towards the ball, and it's going to help you catch interceptions better, or at least get in the position to catch the pick. I'm not saying you're going to catch the ball, but you're not going to get agged as often, and you're going to catch more interceptions, right? Defensive heat seeker assist, turn this on. This helps you suction tackle ball carriers. Like, I'll show a clip right here. So when you see that clip, the reason why I was able to basically get that suction dive tackle is because I have heat seeker assist on, which is going to help me basically dive tackle the ball carrier in the backfield and make those type of tackles, all right? The window, you want to make sure that's on 100. Switch stick delay, you don't want there to be any additional delay in between your switch sticks, so make sure that you have this on none. But that's not all when I'm talking about defensive settings, because next we have coaching adjustments, which are going to be in-game adjustments that you have to make, all right? You're going to come into auto flip defensive play call. You're going to make sure this is on so that your defense aligns correctly with your slot cornerback. Cornerback matchups, make sure it's unbalanced. Same thing as before. Alignment, you want to make sure that your defense doesn't crisscross when the offense no huddles, which will happen if you're having them by speed, by overall, by height. So just make sure you have an unbalanced. Defense and motion response, again, connects back to alignment. You want to make sure that you have this on default so that, or excuse me, no, you want to make sure you have this on disabled, because if you use default, then your zone defenders have the possibility to realign when the offense motions, all right? Make sure this on disabled. The option keys, these aren't too important. You just have to understand that, okay, if I turn this on aggressive, I now have to go get the quarterback, right? Because that's what's going to be left open. So you have to go get the quarterback with your user, and then vice versa if you put it on conservative. So really just understanding what you want to do. You want to make sure you have your RPO pass key on conservative for the same reason. You want to stop the run, the ball carrier, the running back with your user, and then you want your AI defenders to focus on pass coverage, right? Zone drops depend on the situation. I think I'm going to talk about these later in the video, but if you just want to set them and forget them, put your curl flats on 5. This is going to help your defense play a little bit better here. And then safety depth and close safety with unpinch for the most part. Recently, I've started playing more against more takeoff receivers, and so when you're doing that, you want to make sure you just have it on default, just because you don't want your guys being too close to the line of scrimmage. But if they don't have those crazy abilities that let them fly off the line of scrimmage faster, or their receivers aren't too terribly fast, close pinch is going to be pretty good for you. I'm about to show you why, because especially against spread formations, a lot of people will just want to hike throw seams, and so you're going to be able to see when they try to do that, you're going to get a lot more knockouts and interceptions, just because the airspace in between the safety and the slot corner, it's just non-existent, right? It's so tight, and there's nowhere really for them to throw the ball. But even, like I said, if they don't have a super speed receiver, even if they lob that pass over the top, he's not just going to run right by him. So safety depth and close with your width on pinch, and all the other settings just showed you, are very important for a lot of different situations, and they're going to help you play a lot better defense before you even load up into the game and get into any of the schematic stuff. All right, if any of those first 3 tips found helpful here in this video, I encourage you to go down below, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of the defensive tips I break down here on CFB 26, but also go down below and comment free. I'll send you a free guide to dominate CFB 26 that you're not going to miss out on. Let's jump right back into it. All right, the next thing you're going to have to be able to do in any game is be able to stop the RPO. You have to be able to take away the offense's best friend, especially when they march down into the red zone. Let me show you the best way to do that. All right, and so here we go. We are going to be talking about defending RPOs. Now, a key thing that you have to understand with RPOs is a run-pass option. So they have the option to run the ball, or they have the option to pass, which really means you have to be able to take away both of them to stop the play consistently, all right? So first I'm going to break down how you're going to stop the run. So you want to stand 4 yards over the guard on the running back side. So if the running back's on the left side right here, then we are going to stand over the left guard, right? So we're just going to stand right here and be ready to loop around and shoot a gap, right? You can see this is an inside run, and so I'm just going to loop around and meet this ball carrier at that point of attack. Now, luckily, with this particular play, this isn't a good run, RPO run from them. The pass is good, but like you can see the defensive end just has a free run in here, and so he just makes this play. But you still see how if we track my user, I'm still looping around, and I was right here to meet this guy at the point of attack if my defensive end didn't make that play. And that's really the most consistent way that you can pretty much guarantee as high as possible that you're able to stop the RPO run, is simply by going out there and stopping it yourself. All right, take the snap, loop all the way around these guys, and be ready to meet that guy at the point of attack. And this is what I mean when I say dive tackle, because you're going to press X or square on PlayStation to make that play on the ball carrier in the backfield. Again, shout out to my defensive end. He's doing a great job of making this a lot easier for us. But if he's not there, you still got to be there with your user. So he's doing a great job with this run, but all of these plays are the same, right? If they flip their running back into the other side, I'd be looping around the other way, right? And so it's all the same. But how do we stop the pass? Because that's really the toughest challenge, right? So we're going to come to a cover 3 defense. Make sure you're running cover 3 when you do this, please. But we're going to just simply man up the bubble guy. Once you start to play the game more, you get a better feel for who's running what route or who's going to be getting the ball in the RPO. And this is a trips formation, so obviously it's just going to be the inside guy who's off the line of scrimmage, right, who's going to be getting the ball here. So we're just going to man him up. But the key, and then we're going to press RB, right stick up to pass commit. The key is to make sure you're still trying to stop the run with your user. Just because now you have him manned up, you still have to stop the run to to take away both of the options. So we're going to see it right here. Take the snap. I'm right here to stop the run, but you're also able to see how we're right there to stop the pass. So that's really their worst nightmare. You're looping around to stop the run aspect of the RPO, but then you still have the guy manned up and you're able to stop the pass. You're able to see he's able to knock the pass away with his head right here, and so we're able to get that knockout. But you see how I'm still ready to stop the run. I'm still looping around to shoot that gap, but now they realize, oh wait, I can't hand the ball off. So now they're forced to throw this pass out here, but the guy's already manned up, right? So we go through it again right here, and so I can show you the reason why you want to make sure you have that hard flat as well is because you want the hard flat to get blocked to open up room for the man coverage defender. Because if you didn't have the hard flat, number 3 would slide over and block your linebacker. But since you have that hard flat, you force him to basically block the first guy. And so then you just, come in and run someone else in that area, right? So again, same thing. I'm looping around ready to stop the run. And so that time they hand the ball off, we're right there. But then we look at the pass part, we're able to stop the pass aspect as well. So RPO defense, pretty simple in this game. The main problem that you're going to have probably, even with this, is getting the adjustment set up to be able to hard flat, to be able to pass commit, to be able to man the guy up. But if you can do that, really, it's shut down for good. You're going to see he's just going to stick with this, take it away, nowhere for them to throw the ball, and then we're right here to stop the run part. So that's how you stop RPOs. You have to be able to stop the pass aspect and the run with those adjustments that I just gave you. All right, regardless if you play franchise, you play online, you play cut, anything, you're going to be playing against meta offenses like Bunch Strong Nasty. Let me show you the best defense to stop some of their favorite money plays. Alright, so we're going to come into nickel 2-4 here. You can do this actually from a lot of different defenses, but you want to come into play like cover 6, alright? So we're going to put all 3 of our zone drop depths on default right here. So default, default, default. And then we're going to come into cover 6, and you're going to see the play that they have called here in particular is mesh spot flat, right? And so why is this good? Because if they put RB on a shriek, they're basically going to have a flood concept very easily, right? Only one hot route, and they can just quickly just snap a flood concept and pretty much destroy a lot of different defenses in this game, all right? And so the way that we're going to go ahead and slow that down is with this match coverage, all right? So essentially, you're going to be matching onto their corner route and their flat route right off the rip, right? So we take the snap now. Here's the key with match. You see perfect defense. Everyone's guarded. We have a hard flat. We have, on both sides. Then we have a quarter flat. And so we're able to take everything away. But you really want to find work with your user. You don't want to honestly be doing what I kind of did here, where you're kind of just guarding nothing. Because it's like, this is good defense. You see how hard it is for you probably right now to stop corner routes. This defense essentially is going to just play for you because you have all 3 zone drop depths on default and you're running cover 6 match coverage, right? These guys are basically latching onto these routes and they're sitting on them as they're, coming across the field or breaking out to the sideline. You're able to see their flat route just is getting sat on, their drag is getting sat on. But it's like, this is just easy defense. It's kind of like put your controller down where you don't even have to do anything. And one of the best route concepts, one of the best plays in this game is totally going to be shut down because we go through it again right here. You're able to see same thing. I'm using the drag. The other drag is taken away. This is an insane route concept actually because essentially they're getting a mesh concept with a flood concept all built into one. And so it doesn't even matter the defense that you run. If you run zone coverage, man coverage, this is going to be hard to defend. But a defense like this makes it a lot easier because you have a hard flat, you have quarter flats, you're able to match onto their corner out down the field. And like I said, the most important thing is not usering nothing. Finding work with your user and taking away any maybe little windows that they have momentarily so that you can, be everywhere possible. But boom, take it again right here, user this, and then you're able to see everything else kind of gets taken away. And we're pretty easy going to be able to sack the quarterback. So that's a play in a route concept that's going to be very tough to defend out of every defense, honestly, because it's combining 2 great route concepts into one. But match coverage is essentially just going to run the routes for these guys, match onto them down the field. And the only thing you have to do with your user is pretty much stay underneath and find work and something to guard. All right, if you enjoyed that breakdown of 5 defensive tips that will transform your game overnight and help you win more games, again, I encourage you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every single day here on CFB 26. You're not going to miss out on any of them. But if you now want to transform your offense with 5 tips to help you on that side of the ball, check out this video where I go through just that. I'll see you over there.